Alright guys, so today we're going to be making a video that I have been scared to death to make. Today we are going to be weathering an Indiana Jones jacket. And I know a lot of people that have, really struggled with weathering their jackets because they are so scared that they're going to damage them. And quite frankly, I am one of those people. For those that don't normally watch this channel, I have 3 Indiana Jones jackets, and I actually ordered one specifically for this project. However, that one ended up being the What Price Glory one, and it had very, very soft leather, softer than any of my other jackets, and I'm really, really scared that I'm going to damage that jacket if I try and weather it. So, I opted to go with my Wested. The Wested is my favorite jacket by far, and the most expensive to replace. So that puts me in quite a pickle. This is the jacket that I darkened in a video a while ago at the instruction of Leicester Jones, who I am friends with on the Indiana Jones Facebook page. He suggested that I do the exact same method to this jacket. Number one, because it's already been darkened. And he did the exact same thing to his. And he weathered his using nothing more than this deep cleaning sponge. You can get these anywhere for less than $1. So, you don't use rubbing alcohol, you don't get the jacket wet. All you got to do is scrub a little bit with this thing, and supposedly it turns out fantastic. Now, I've already done a little bit. My plan is to try and make this look like a Last Crusade jacket, because that's the look I'm going for my next fan film. Off camera, I've already done a little bit. Nothing horrendous, but I wanted to see if it was actually going to work. And now that I've started the project, I feel much more confident in the end result here. What I did was I just went onto my phone and I got a, this is the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade jacket from the Smithsonian. So this is the one that's actually used in the film. And so basically what I'm going to try and do is copy the weathering pattern off of this jacket. So that's basically what we're going to be doing in this video. This video may end up being pretty long. I hear this is about a 2-hour process. As you guys know, I generally like to film all my stuff in real time. So you can just fast forward back and forth through the video and just watch the parts that you want. So basically what I did was I started up here on the collar, and I really, really liked, let's see if I can get this into camera here. I really, really liked the results that I'm getting already. All I did was I just scrubbed it a little bit. And you obviously want to be careful of the stitching here because you don't want to ruin the stitching. So the pressure at which you scrub is everything. But scrubbing it actually made the leather a lot more soft and supple, and I'm really, really liking the results that I'm getting so far. So, other than the collar, the only thing I've worked on is this half of the jacket. So I'm going to continue that, and we'll just kind of see where it goes. As you can see, I've already started a little bit around the pocket flap here, and a little bit in here, in this area, which is all screen accurate. And then I tried the scratching pattern on the sleeve here, which I also am getting pretty good results with. The undercolor of this is basically the color that the jacket originally was before I colored it. So really all I'm doing is taking off the EcoFlow dye that I used in the previous video. So I'm hoping that that gives me the results that I want. So let's go ahead and get started here. We've got our little deep cleaning sponge, and we're just gonna scrub. This is about medium pressure that I'm doing right now. And we're going to do the whole jacket like this. Now we've got a slight indentation here, so I'm not too worried about getting the stitching on this part. But obviously that's not going to be the case for the whole jacket. So I'm kind of, I want to make sure that I don't do, overdo it. I'd rather underdo it and come back and get it later than do overkill. And obviously we've got a lot of stitching here on the pocket flaps that I'm trying to be mindful of here. But yeah, as you can see, it's working. I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but yeah, the flaps are already looking pretty good here. Yeah, the more I scrub this, the happier I am with the results. So, at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident that when we're done here, this is going to really look like a nice Last Crusade jacket. And perfect for my upcoming film. My last film has gotten a lot of really positive feedback. So I'm very, very happy that you guys liked what I did. That was a huge undertaking, obviously. And 4 years of my life was spent making that movie. I do think that we can make the next one a lot faster. I didn't even know that I was going to have to be editing it until we'd already finished shooting the whole thing, because that's when I found out that my editor had bailed. So I already know that I'm going to be the primary editor on this new one. So this time I can edit it as we film it, so that when we're done shooting, it will actually be pretty much done, rather than a whole nother year of work afterwards. So just that part alone should save us a lot of time. I've also made it so that we can shoot the new film with considerably less extras, because that was another thing that dogged me during the last movie. Is, there were some scenes where we needed a lot of extras to make it look good, and then it was just that much more difficult to get that many people to show up at the same time at the same location. And then we had people bailing all over the place, and the final project suffered quite a bit from that. So this time I've tried to write the script in a way where we can film the whole movie with 4 extras, if that's what we have to do. So I'm writing it in a way where I'm hoping that we can avoid the main pitfalls of the last film. The things that disappointed me the most about the last film, number one is the quality of the picture, which really hurt. I filmed that movie in 1080p. I'll get back to that here in just a minute. So, it looks like we've got a big nick right there at the bottom. So I'm going to try and duplicate that. Looks like it's right about here. So I'm going to scrub that area really good. Oh, I'm off camera here. Move that up, there we go. Right in there. Yeah, there we go. It's looking pretty good in there. Okay, and I think we've got another spot up on the chest. So this area right here is going to need quite a bit of work, and it looks like we've got some shoulder work to do there as well. So that's where we're going next. So as I was saying, I filmed the movie in 1080p, but, you know, I was kind of caught off guard by the fact that I was going to have to edit it, and I didn't have a computer that was strong enough to edit the movie the way that I wanted it. So I also couldn't afford a good computer at the time. So I had to compress the movie quite a bit in order to put it through an editor that I could actually use my computer to edit it on. And that's why the picture quality isn't very good. But I had no other choice. I didn't have anybody else to edit it for me. So it was either, you know, do it myself with the tools that I had, or not do it at all. I'm considering maybe going back at some point when I have a better computer and better software and making a HD version of the film. Because if there's one thing that bugs me about that movie, it's the picture quality. The other one is the lack of extras in some scenes. For those that have watched the movie, there's a part in scene 7 where I'm actually playing one of the extras, shooting at myself. Because we had 2 people bail that day, and I couldn't make the scene turn out the way I wanted it to with any less than 5 extras. And I had a hunch that people were going to run out on me that day, and so I brought a whole other suit just for myself. So then we filmed all the scenes with the extras first, and then I went and changed into my indie gear, and we filmed everything else. But it's just stuff like that that, you know, we kind of had to just, you know, fight and claw and scratch to get what we wanted out of the scene. But now I know what the limitations are. I know who I can count on and who I can't. And I'm really looking forward to this next one. I think it's actually going to be better. I was pretty happy with the story on the first film. But I'm pretty darn happy with this second one too. I really, really like the female character. We're going with a double agent character, a la Elsa or Mac from the fourth film. But the catch is, instead of being a bad guy pretending to be a good guy, it's a good guy pretending to be a bad guy. So that puts like a whole new spin on everything. Okay, that's starting to look about the way that it should. Maybe give it a couple of really good jerks here. And then the shoulder. Looks like the shoulder's just like a couple of scratches, kind of like what I've done here on the bottom section. My guess is that I've watched all the behind the scenes stuff for the regular movies, and if I had to guess, some of this was probably done with a pocket knife. See, I almost went too far there and nicked the leather a little bit. No, maybe not quite so hard. Okay, and then we've got some little scratches, horizontal scratches towards the elbow there. So I'm going to see if I can duplicate those. It's a very fine line from scrubbing too hard. I really don't want to damage the leather. I did put a little nick in it right there that I'm not very happy about. But, you know, that also kind of makes it look a little bit more authentic. I just don't want to damage the jacket because I really don't want to have to buy another one. So I think we're getting close here on the left side. We've got the shoulder seam right here. It's going to need to be done. And I'm guessing that goes pretty much all the way around. And I have another picture that shows this shoulder seam here also needs to be worn. So I'll go ahead and start there. Obviously this is the seam, so I really don't want to mess that up. We'll go nice and slow here. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave that, well, maybe a little bit more towards the collar area here. Gotta be careful about that stitching. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with the shoulder seam here. Go ahead and flatten that out. I am really excited about the new film. My friend James Nelson, who played Marcus Brody in the last movie, he wanted to play Henry Jones Sr. from the very beginning. And he's going to be fantastic. We've already done a little back and forth banter off of each other with Indy and his dad stuff. And I'm really looking forward to just how much fun we're going to have with this next one. We're going to have a motorcycle chase with a sidecar. Short Round's going to be in it, which is going to be great. Yeah, I'm just really excited. But we can't even start shooting until, you know, this whole pandemic stuff is over with. And in the meantime, I've got a lot of work to do. I got to finish this jacket. When this jacket is done, we're going to start on Henry Jones Sr.'s bag. For those of you that are indie prop collectors, you know that that's one of the holy grails of the Indiana Jones universe, is finding a bag that will actually work for Henry Jones Sr., because they're like impossible to find. I had to buy 3 bags before I finally found one that would work. And it's the wrong color, so it's going to need to be dyed just like this jacket was, except it's going to be black instead of dark brown. And I'm going to have to add the straps to it and pull some things off the front of it using a seam ripper and all sorts of stuff. I'm going to get all that on video as well, so you guys will be able to see how I do that if you want to follow my work. Basically, all I'm doing here is following other people's work. It's just those people haven't put it on YouTube. So, you know, you feel a little bit more insecure about it when somebody just tells you, well, this is what I did. But you've got no visual aid to see how they went through the process. So, naturally, you know, I'm trying to make this channel so that all you indie fans out there that want to do all this stuff have something that you can follow along with. Because I wish I had that. Okay, that seam is looking decent for right now. So we'll go ahead and flip this over and get the back shoulder section. And of course we also need to get this seam here along the sleeve. So we'll go ahead and start with that. It's a lot easier to scrub a little bit less hard and just do it a little bit longer than it is to ruin the jacket. I really, really don't want to ruin this jacket. This is my favorite Indiana Jones jacket. I've wanted a Wested ever since I knew that they became available. But I've got short arms, so I already knew I was going to have one custom made for me. And I just happened to find this one on their jacket adoption page that somebody else had ordered and didn't want for whatever reason. And the sleeve length and the measurements and all of it was perfect. So not only did I get a discount on this jacket, but I didn't have to do a thing to it. Usually when I get a jacket, the sleeves have to be tailored for me. So this was a huge find. I got, I don't know, $75, $80 off the price of what it would have been. And I'm back to work on my tiny house again. So I'm having some financial difficulties once more. So I really don't want to have to buy another one of these, especially when I've got a lot of other props that still need to be bought for this movie. I still need to buy Henry Jones Sr.'s entire outfit, other than the hat. So I'm sure that's going to be a pretty penny. And the only thing I have for short round so far is the ball cap. And in this new movie, short round's going to be in his 20s. So I'm going to have some creative freedom with what the costume is going to look like, but he's still got to have the hat. I mean, that's like a must. Well, that's looking good. But yeah, long ways to go with this project. Last one took me 4 years, and it was about 1.5 years before we even started shooting it. And then it took me another 1.5 years to film it, and then another year to edit it. I don't know how long this one's going to take, but I've got a lot more people on board for this one because everybody saw my last film and liked it, and so now I've got more people that are actually interested in helping me out. So that's a good thing. I haven't looked at the back of what the jacket looks like yet, so for right now I'm going to leave this one alone. I think we've got a wear point along this seam as well. Let me double check my phone and see what I can come up with on that. Yep. Okay, so yeah, here's a couple more pictures. I believe this is Leicester's jacket that he sent me. So we've got that seam right there, which is this one. So I'm going to wear that one, weather that one next. I'm not quite as worried about busting the stitching on this side, so that's kind of nice. Seems like this side's willing to take a little bit more abuse. Let's see if we can speed this up a little bit. More right there. I'm not really sure how much contrast I'm looking for here in the wear spots, so I'm trying to take it a little easy, and I can always come back and do more. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so we need the other side of the shoulder seam right here. So we'll do that section next. And this part has a lot of stitching, so I've already got one piece that's out there a little bit. Just trying to take it easy. I'm a little bit concerned about the stitching right here. Since this is under the armpit anyway and nobody's going to see it, I think I'm just going to leave this section alone. So we'll go ahead and just go a little bit higher here. Okay, getting close here, I think. Okay, I think that's probably pretty good. And then I'm going to come up here and do this section right here. Leicester said he did his jacket in between 2 to 2.5 hours. I don't really care how long this takes me, I just want it to look right. This is going to be the jacket for my next film, and I'm pretty nitpicky about looking good when I'm on screen. I've seen so many indie fan films out there where the guy hasn't even bothered to get a decent hat, or, you know, learn fight choreography, or his whip skills suck, or whatever. It's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make sure that it's done right. I'm not a big fan of other people's fan films because I haven't found anything out there that meets my standards. It needs to have the flavor of an actual Indiana Jones movie. If you're out there with a crappy hat or a crappy jacket, or you're flailing around in a fist fight and it's very clear that you don't know what you're doing, it just kind of it detracts from it too much, and I can't enjoy the story that's trying to be told. So, if you want to make a good fan film, you got to put the work in. It can't just be go out in the woods and shoot something with your friends. That's not the way that I do things. Okay, I think we're getting pretty close to finishing the front of this side anyway. Looks like we've got a little bit more scuffing right there along the bottom. So I'll tackle that next. So we've got this section right here. Move the jacket up. So we're going to go right across this section in here and just scuff it up a little bit. Like that. Maybe a couple of scrapes in there. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. I think we'll leave it there for right now. So, I think the thing I want to do next is the underside of this arm. So what do we got? Okay, so here's the underside of the arm. Doesn't really look like there's a whole lot going on there other than the scuffing around the seams. So it looks like those are quite a bit more extravagant than what I've got here though. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of expand the seams a little bit in this section in here and this section over here, and then maybe just add a couple of extra scuffs. Try and make it look good. So here, just give it a good scrubbing. Oh, I bumped the camera. Okay, so move the jacket up. All right, there we go. Okay, so we got some fading in there. You might need a little bit more, especially in this area right by the seam. Scrub that pretty good right there in there. Okay. I think that's where I'm going to leave it for right now, and then I'll come over here and there we go. So I want to get this part in here a little bit more. Just kind of attack that. Okay, that's looking decent there. And there's the front, so that's looking pretty good. So for now, I think I'm going to do this second half off camera. This section over here, just because it's going to be more of the same. And I don't want to make this like an incredibly long video. So basically what we're going to do is basically the exact same thing that we just did on this side. But I will take care of that off camera. So for right now, we're going to flip this over and try and make the back look good. So I'm pretty sure that we've got a scuff that goes along the back seam right here. Yeah, and that's clearly visible on this picture. So we're just going to follow that. And it looks like there's a nice big scuff right there in the middle of the back, and then 2 more on each shoulder. So we're going to hit those 2. Once again, we've got the seam that sticks out right here. So I want to try and get this carefully. I'm actually really surprised with how well this is working. You know, no rubbing alcohol, nothing fancy. Just a sponge, you know, for 50 cents or whatever, and a little bit of elbow grease. I'm certainly not afraid of putting in a little bit of work here. There might be easier ways to do this, but once again, I could not find a single YouTube video on this process to make a good Last Crusade jacket. And I didn't want to risk ruining it. So Leicester didn't steer me wrong before, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be steered wrong this time either. I think when this jacket's done, it's going to really look fantastic. So Leicester, you're probably not watching this, but if you are, I really, really appreciate your coaching and helping me through this process. It's going to make my movie look a lot better. This is already my favorite indie jacket, and I think when this is done, it's going to look even better than it did before. Looking good, looking good. Okay, I think that's where I want to keep it for right now. I'll worry about all the touch-up when this is done. Okay, so we've got one nice little faded spot right there in the middle of the shoulder and another one matching on the other side. So that's where we're going with this. So here's our shoulder. Let's try and get it in a circle here. this shoulder part here doesn't really want to lay flat, so. Okay, that's pretty good. And we'll do that to the other side over here. The fact that this doesn't want to lay flat is making it a lot more difficult. Okay, I'm just going to run a little bit along the bottom of the seam here. Okay, and then we've got that big splotch right in the middle of the back that I'm going to try and duplicate here. I don't know if I'm going to use a circular motion for that one. I think I might just go up and down. So, make sure the jacket's nice and open so I'm not getting any grooves in it. Right in the middle here. Again, it's not wanting to lay flat. Let's try it this way. Okay, that might be as good as it's going to get on that. Not sure if I'm happy with that or not yet. I don't know, that looks pretty close actually. And it looks like we've got a little bit more along the bottom there, so I'm going to go ahead and scuff the very bottom of the jacket. Right along this section here. All right, it's coming along. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, we've got some scuffing right down the back section on just one side. Well, I don't know, it's got a little bit on the other side, but let's concentrate on the left side for right now. So that's going to be right along this back seam right here. So I'll go ahead and make sure I'm not getting the rest of the jacket on this. So I'll go ahead and do it this way. You want to be careful in these areas with multiple seams in them. So I'll go ahead and flatten that out and get in here and really scrub the heck out of it. There we go. That looks good. Okay, and then I think we had that little scuff on the other side right there up towards the seam. So I'm going to see if I can duplicate that. So that's going to be somewhere right in here. So I'm not going to go all the way down because that jacket didn't have that. So I'm just going to try and scuff its top section right here. There we go. Okay, that's a pretty good scuff right there. Let's see what else we got here. For the back of the jacket, that pretty much looks like that's about it. Now let's go back to the front. Yeah, based on what I'm seeing on these pictures, I think that's just about it. So we've got our back taken care of at this point. And we've got the right side of the jacket pretty much taken care of at this point. That little scruff in there like that. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut the film, and then I'm going to take care of the other side, and then kind of just give you guys an update. So stay tuned. Okay, so at this point I have completed the entire left side of the jacket here since the last time I filmed anything. And I basically just did exactly what I did on the right side as far as paying attention to the photos and putting the scuffs where they need to go, especially along the seams in here. And this one along the shoulder. And I did notice that on the pictures that there was a nice big scuff on the back of the elbow there. So I did quite a bit of scrubbing right here in this area. Is this enough? I'm not sure. It depends on the light. Sometimes I'm happy with it, sometimes I feel like it needs a little bit more. However, you can always take more off later, but you can't put it back. So for right now, I'm going to leave it the way it is, wear it for a little bit, see how it looks under different lighting situations and such, and then maybe do a little bit more later. If I do end up doing more, I'm not going to put it on camera because it's just going to be more of the same. This should be a pretty good idea of what you guys need to do to make your jacket look like this. In my last movie, the jacket was a little bit too much of a light brown color for me. So what I did was I used a filter to make the jacket look darker. I have darkened the jacket since I filmed that movie, and then I've done this to it as well. So I kind of want to see how this is going to look on camera under different lighting before I do any additional work to it. But if it needs more work, I'm certainly going to do that. But right now, yeah, I'm pretty darn happy with the way it looks. Now you'll notice, I don't know if you'll notice on camera or not, but I'm just going to say it. This side is a little bit darker than this side is. This side has this big worn spot right here, just like in the films. This one has a worn spot here that's not quite as pronounced. That is also correct via the Smithsonian photos I was using. So that's why this side looks a little bit darker than this side does. And it was the same thing with the pocket. There was quite a bit of wearing on the flap here, but not much on the bottom pocket other than this scuff right here. So that's how I left it. You guys are obviously free to do this however you want, but I wanted mine to be as close to the screen-used Last Crusade jacket as I could possibly get. So this is what I'm going to stick with for right now, and we'll go from there. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope this helps you with your own weathering projects. So thanks a lot, and have a good day.